This matchup could bring up some bad memories for old Broncos fans. This is your Denver Sports Daily for January 8th.
The biggest stories, the latest news. It's Denver Sports Daily.
If the past truly does repeat itself, this week could end with some very bad news for the Broncos. The Broncos and Bills will see each other this Sunday in the Broncos' first postseason appearance since 2015. The last and only times these teams saw each other in the playoffs, the Broncos lost in the AFC Championship in 1992. If you remember, it wasn't the best game. That game is one of the most famous in Broncos history. John Elway went out of the game with a bruised thigh, and Gary Kubiak came in at QB. David Treadwell also famously missed 3 field goals that would have won them the game, with the final score being 10-7, Bills winning. Not great, especially, the Bills went on to lose that Super Bowl. So obviously the Broncos losing that game was a huge loss. What's especially crazy about that game, in this one especially, is that this weekend, they are both the exact same date, 33 years apart. Now, what's most crazy to that about me is that 33 years ago is 1992. That's the craziest part of this. Second, that is not a coincidence that I want my team going out there and being a part of. Because they've heard it. The Broncos have heard this. The last time they went out and played the Bills in the AFC Championship, the last time they met these two teams, each other in the playoffs, it was on this date 33 years ago, and the Broncos lost. Now, obviously, this really doesn't mean much. It was 33 years ago. A date is a date. A lot of the games end up falling around the same time because of when the playoffs start. But still, that is a crazy coincidence, and not when you want your team being on the wrong side of, especially. Now, the Bills are obviously very heavy favorites to win this game. I think the polls opened up, or the betting opened up at 8.5. The Broncos were 9-point underdogs, 8.5-point underdogs. So the Broncos really, nobody's expecting them to go out there and win. Nobody really is. I would love it. Everybody would love it. But this is one of those games that this season overall has been looked at as a major success for the Broncos. It really has. There are so many people. There are kids. Think of the kids that are Broncos fans growing up who never got to experience playoffs, who never got to experience their team winning. This is an amazing season overall. Bo Nix has brought this team back from the dead. Sean Payton has brought this team back from the dead, and they are going to the playoffs. So whether win or lose, this is not a failure. No way this is a failure. They're going up against one of the best teams in the league. The Bills are one of the favorites to win the Super Bowl. The Broncos are not expected to win this game. I have no expectations going into this game that the Broncos are going to blow them out. I really don't. This season has been great. They've won. They've gone to the playoffs. They've rebuilt their team. Bo Nix has progressed. He's gotten better. This team has chemistry now. There is no way you can look at this season from any standpoint at all, whether win or lose this weekend. This is not a failure. This is a major success. A major success. It's been great. It's been great. There are no notes to say about this team. And with them getting to the playoffs in their first year of the rebuild, with Bo Nix, Sean Payton clicking, this team, I have high hopes for the future. I really do. There's not a chance that you can, you tell me in 3 years the Broncos are going to win a Super Bowl? I wouldn't doubt you I wouldn't doubt you for a second. Not a second. This is going to be a good. We're back in the golden ages. We're going back into the gold age. This is the beginning of it. Enjoy it while it's here, because this is a really, really fun time, and nobody's seen anything like this for 9 years. So whether win or lose, not a failure. Major success. Now, the Nuggets did lose to the Boston Celtics last night, 118-106. The Celtics came to town and stole a win away from the Nuggets in a game that honestly shouldn't have been as close as it was. About an hour before the game, it was announced that Jokic wouldn't be playing due to an illness. Now, despite the MVP being out, the Nuggets played very, very well, tying the game up even at 93-93 with 8 minutes remaining. After that, however, the Celtics went on a 25-13-point run to seal the game, but still, they were clicking. The Nuggets were clicking offensively. They played pretty well, hitting 14 threes and having six players in double digits. Jamal Murray, Russell Westbrook, and Julian Strawther took most of the offensive load. But defensively as well, Michael Porter Jr. and Peyton Watson really stepped up. Peyton Watson was playing amazing. Lockdown defense, getting blocks, posting up, not locking down some of their best players, and Kristaps Porzingis. They were playing really well on the defensive end. And then offensively, Russell Westbrook really showed out, hitting 4 threes. Jamal Murray, I'm a little bit disappointed, and I'll explain it. Jamal Murray played incredibly well. He was going off at the end of the second quarter, at the end of the half. And then for some reason, he wasn't getting the ball after that. He wasn't getting the ball until the end of the fourth. It didn't seem like they were going back to him at all. He was hot. He had, I think it was 8 straight points, just knocking him down. That game was an offensive masterclass from both teams. It was going back and forth. Each team was hitting threes, coming down, hitting a three, knocking down a mid-range, step back, all that. It was going very well for the first 3 quarters of the game. And Jamal Murray was a major part of that because he was really keeping them in that game with his ability to make shots on his own. Now, Russell Westbrook, he played well. I'm not going to let him get away with this, though. He did have some costly turnovers at the end of the game that really did seal it for the Celtics. But overall, if the team can play like this without Nikola Jokic, with Jokic, they would have destroyed the Celtics. They would have knocked them over. The Celtics wouldn't have been able to get back up. But with Jokic playing, it's obviously a very different game. So that gives me hope for playoffs. The finals is when this team would be seen in the playoffs. Hopefully that the Nuggets can get there. Still, great play all around from the Nuggets, even in the loss. Now, the Nugs are now 20-15 and 4th in the West. They play again tonight against the LA Clippers, so I'll be recapping that tomorrow. Now, it is an Avalanche game day. The Avs are traveling to Chicago to take on the Blackhawks. This is their second of 4 meetings this season. Last time, Chicago beat the Avs 5-2 in October. Alexander Georgiev, five goals on one of the worst teams in the league. This time around, the Avs should be able to take care of business. Now, the Blackhawks have not been playing well. And with the new goalie situation for the Avalanche, they should be able to hold the Blackhawks very well defensively. I don't see the Blackhawks getting more than 2 goals tonight. Now, the Avs have been on a heater recently, going 8-1-1 in their last 10 games. So not a chance I'm seeing the Blackhawks steal this one away from the Avs. Now, tonight, the Avs are going into this game as 2-point favorites, and they will start at 5:30 p.m. Now, more on the Avs. Could Nathan McKinnon win the Hart Trophy back-to-back? McKinnon has been playing amazingly this season. He's currently leading the league in points with 66. Now, right now, the favorite for the award is Kirill Kaprizov. But after a recent poll by the ESPN, it seems that McKinnon is closing the gap. Last year, McKinnon won with 51 goals and 140 points. He's not anywhere close to that now, but he could finish with similar points towards the end of the season. I believe, I don't have the stat in front of me, but I believe last season he was recording about 1.7 points per game, and this season he's closer to about 1.6. Still, amazing play from McKinnon. I mean, this guy's the best player on this team, of course, and then one of the best players in the world. So wouldn't surprise me at all if he can go back-to-back. Now, if McKinnon won the Hart Trophy again, he would be the first back-to-back winner since Alex Ovechkin in 2009. So again, he's trending upwards. He needs to bump those points all the way up. He's on a tear, 66 points right now. Amazing. Nathan McKinnon has been playing his heart out, but I think what might be the difference between this year and last year is that there are more offensive threats almost on the Avs. There have been people that are stepping up. Mikko Rantanen has been playing amazing, taking some of that load off of Nathan McKinnon. So Nathan McKinnon, again, leading the league in points, but he's not needing to as much, especially with how well the Avs are playing defensively. They're not needing to go out there and score those late-minute goals because they need to win the game or even tie up the game. It's just a bit different now because the Avs are playing so much better because of their defensive front, because of how the goalies are playing. This team right now, I would much rather they play very well through the regular season and go on to win a Stanley Cup than Nathan McKinnon goes on to win the Hart Trophy and they don't play as well. So that's where my head's at on that. That's going to do it for your Denver Sports Daily. I do want to read some of your comments. Let's see. I don't think it'll be a blowout win at all. It will be closer than people think. Anything can happen in the playoffs. Okay, people call me crazy, but I 100% agree with you. I think this is going to be a low-scoring game and a close game if the Broncos win. That's where I'll say that. If the Broncos win, it will be a low-scoring, close game. If they don't, it'll be more of a blowout on the Bills, 35-17 kind of finish. But if the Broncos win, I could see this being a low-scoring, 17-14, 17-13, that kind of score for the Broncos to win against the Bills. That's where my head's at on that. And tell me if I'm wrong. You can disagree with me. That's just what my kind of thought process is on this. And I could be wrong. I very well could be wrong. But that's kind of where my head's at. Good morning, Joey, and go Bo Broncos. Great day to wake up a Broncos fan. We got playoffs. We got an extra week of NFL football, playoff football. Other teams can't say that. If it was last year, I wouldn't be here talking about what we can do in the playoffs. I'd be talking about what went wrong this season. Let's get Russ out of here. That's what I'd be saying last season. This season, I want Bo Nix signed to a 10-year deal. I want this guy here forever. I want to sign him Bronco for life. That's how I'm feeling. Let's just see. I hate to say it. I have the Bills over the Broncos this Sunday, but look at the experience that this team will get. Either way, it's a win. Either way, it's a win. Exactly. Whether win or lose this weekend, the Broncos made it to the playoffs. The Bills are a very a sound team defensively and offensively. They've been a Super Bowl favorite for many years now. They really look to go out there and they can compete with any team. They could go up against the Lions. I know they lost to the Lions in the regular season, but they could beat them in the playoffs in the Super Bowl. They can beat the Chiefs any day of the week. This team, the Bills, it's the hardest team the Broncos will face this season. Not only because they're one of the best, but because it's the playoff team. When you get to the playoffs, teams compete more. And the Bills are one of those teams that have playoff experience, so they know how to compete at the highest level come playoff time. So it very well could be a Bills win. But I don't want to talk about a Bills win. I want to talk about what the Broncos can do to win. Right now, in my head, I'm seeing the Broncos walk away and Bo Nix being carried off in the shoulders and winning the game. That's where my head's at. So, we could talk about losses next Monday, but right now I want to talk about wins. So hopefully that can happen. But until then, we got another Nuggets game tonight and then an Avalanche game tonight as well. So I will be making sure to recap those. I'll be talking more about the Broncos tomorrow because that's all I want to talk about. But until then, y'all have a great rest of your day. I will see you all tomorrow. Bye, y'all.